What? Why are you shaking your head? You're welcome.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Best Ball Breakdown here on our usual Thursday afternoon time. I am joined today not by Graham Barfield, but instead by Theo Gremminger. So everybody give Theo a warm welcome. We are going to be, we're going to try to get into a Husky draft today. We got that really nice advance rate structure. It's basically 1 in 4 out of the first 2 rounds. Nice 10 entry max tournament. I have not drafted this one at all, but we'll see if we can get into this one. Only looking for 4 people. So if you guys are in the chat, want to draft along with us, go ahead and hop into this. We'll wait for a little bit. But yeah, while we're waiting for this, Theo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. And I see Bindles. I see the Best Ball community is here. Bindles, why don't you hop in this draft and draft against us? Stoked. I was talking to you before the show. I'm in so many slow underdog drafts. I know like there's a lot of hatred out there in the community for us slow drafters, Ryan. But you know, it's something where I love it. I'm in so many slow underdogs. I love the Husky. I love the Chow Chow. I think those kind of contests. I mean, I'm curious your thoughts, but I like the capped entries. I like the higher than usual entry fee. The advance rate, I think it will be pretty like it sounds pretty interesting. You broke down this contest. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you in terms of I generally prefer like the smaller field contests. Like I draft Best Ball Mania stuff on stream, obviously, but in terms of like what I'm drafting when I'm off stream just for myself, yeah, I'm usually sticking to like the smaller field stuff, like a bit like mid-tier, higher dollar is nice as well. Just because, you know, I don't love to just sit here and only draft all summer. I like doing other things. So just, yeah, with return on investment for like the time I spend, I prefer doing kind of the smaller field, smaller entry limit contests. But I will fight you on the slow draft thing. I used to be like primarily a slow drafter, but for me, I like very quickly decided I couldn't do that when like the second half of August would hit and they would just change the timers to be like 4-hour clocks and 2-hour clocks like as the season approaches, because I can't manage this for myself. I would always be in like 25 to 50 slow drafts and they all go to 4-hour clocks at the same time. It would just like make it impossible for me to keep up with it. Every time I would pick up my phone, I would have to just sit there for like 30 minutes making picks. It got really, really bad last year. So I made kind of a resolution to only be a fast drafter this year when I actually have the time to sit down and do it.
Okay, so just to back up the slow drafting lifestyle, you've got when you first wake up, you put in your picks. You put in your picks before you go to sleep. You find some time throughout the day. It's right the parking lot outside of your gym. You're putting in a couple of picks. So it's a lifestyle choice, right? I agree with you. The 4-hour clock, like going to the 4-hour clocks, it definitely like picks up the pace. But I don't know, man. You can definitely jam in a lot more volume if you're doing slow drafting. And for me, also, it's just like the live drafting. It's not as conducive to the lifestyle. So we can butt heads on this one. I know there's a lot of people who agree with you, a lot of anti-slow drafters out there. I also think maybe you lose a little bit of an edge if you're an experienced drafter, you know, being on the clock in a short like clock league, whether it's FFPC or Underdog, anything like that, versus giving up somebody 6 hours or so to make their pick. You definitely are giving people more time to kind of like have a little more strategy. So I don't know. I understand it, but I think it's just it's awesome to wake up and you're OTC in like 25 drafts. And on the same side, it's awesome to put in 25 picks before you go to sleep. So yeah, man, I'll keep cramming them in and we'll keep arguing about this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I spend too much time like in between tasks in my day staring at my phone already. Like any way that I can reduce the amount of time that I'm staring at my phone, whatever, in between going to the gym or getting out of the shower or whatever, is anywhere I can reduce that. That's what I try to do. So, but yeah, no, I definitely hear you. It is an easy way to say like, oh, this is a great contest that I want to make sure I get action in. But if you can't sit there right now, I definitely get it. I get the appeal. We do have a question here in chat from Tony Montana saying he's in a keeper league and asking whether he would want to keep Xavier Worthy or Jameson Williams. Without any detail, I guess I'm just going to assume that it's at the same cost. I'm gonna go against the grain here. I think, or at least against the rankings. I just straight up prefer Jameson Williams to Xavier Worthy in all fantasy formats this year. To me, I'm still just not that convinced by Xavier Worthy as a talent. He didn't really do what we were looking for, what I was looking for, especially on the deeper routes last year. Jameson Williams, while I'm always one to kind of fade the incessant camp hype because we did hear the exact same thing about JMO last year, it really sounds like the Lions want Williams to be a bigger part of what they're doing, with John Morton kind of wanting to isolate him on the outside. He's been playing in the slot even more, which is pretty big to me. So I would go JMO over Xavier Worthy right now. I'm curious what your thoughts are there, Theo.
It's a really interesting question. I haven't thought about them head to head. I've been sort of the resident. I like Xavier Worthy more than a lot of people here at Fantasy Points. I've made the bull case for Xavier Worthy, and certainly I think that Xavier Worthy benefits a lot from the Rashee Rice suspension, not only just in the short term where the usage should be strong, but also sort of in the long term where the chances of Kansas City just giving like a mega contract to Rashee Rice just goes down a little bit with having to deal with sort of the off the field stuff. Whereas Xavier Worthy is only 22 years old. He's got the window there. So the keeper comes into play. There's a chance he's the number one, the number one offensive focal point in the Kansas City offense heading into 2026. I do think that's in the range of outcomes. I don't think there's a wrong answer here, Tony Montana. I think you mentioned that it's a round 7 and a round 8 decision for you. I'm also like all in on Jameson Williams this year. Shout out to Thomas Tipple, who's been preaching the Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think it's a Amon-Ra St. Brown gets completely phased out, but I do think it's which is impossible. He's an alpha. Amon-Ra St. Brown will still lead the team in targets, but it's just a matter of, is Amon-Ra going to be a 140 target player this year? And we see Jameson Williams targets jump to 115. I think that could also happen. And I think Jameson Williams, we don't know how many rush attempts he's going to get. We don't know the wrinkles John Morton's going to put in, but all the vibes are there for Jameson to challenge and put up near wide receiver 1 numbers. So I think you go with your gut here, Tony Montana. I think that there's a lot of strong takes with Jameson Williams, but I also will make a Xavier Worthy argument. I think both are really, really high upside players for you to have as keepers. If you want to break a little bit of ties, Xavier Worthy's only 22, just turned 22. So that it would give you a little bit more room to run if it's a longer term keeper.
All right. We're about to be. Yeah, we got I have, and our rankings have Puka Nacua ranked well above ADP. That's kind of what I've been defaulting to, but I'm happy to go any direction you want here, Theo.
So I am having trouble seeing the screen here. So you, again, what pick are we?
We're pick 5. We got Puka, Jefferson, Saquon, CMC available.
I'm okay with Puka, and I'm also okay taking the slight injury discount on Jefferson. I don't think you can go wrong with that selection.
Yeah. So we took Puka. I can also I can zoom in a little bit.
Give me a
here if that helps. If that helps you out. I'm surprised that no one in the chat has asked for it yet. You guys seem to always want me to zoom in. But yeah, here's the board. Interesting draft room we got here. We got Pretty Ricky. I assume that's Twitter dog profile insider Pretty Ricky. And we have Theo Ash in here. So couple of names I recognize. Should be a fun little draft here. I don't know if anyone from chat is in here as well, but yeah, this should be cool. I will ask you, I guess, Theo, what's your take on this Matthew Stafford back injury stuff? Because it's a little concerning, obviously, with Stafford's kind of history of his back. it didn't really hold him back at all in terms of like creating fantasy value for his receivers last year. But that's like something I'm kind of thinking about when I'm clicking Puka ahead of consensus pretty consistently. Like he seems unlikely to really play at all in training camp or the preseason. They're treating him as week to week. So how are you kind of approaching this Rams passing game? Do you think that the floor is any lower, or that they're any riskier of picks than before we found out that Stafford's back was kind of bothering him again?
I'm not that concerned at all. I think that he can sit out the entire preseason and it wouldn't bother me as long as he's there for week one. I understand there's been a couple of people making this same case. You know, it's the back and all this kind of stuff, but I will go in with an optimistic approach that Stafford's going to get his rest in the preseason. Everything's all focused on week one. It's a player who we have no questions on sort of the timing with him and Puka. Now you get the Devontae Adams addition. I mean, I've been drafting the hell out of the Rams wide receivers. So I'm going to treat it sort of as nothing. It's not even August yet. There's plenty of time for him to heal, and he's dealt with things over the years.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I think like we could live in a world where kind of similar to like Joe Burrow the last couple of years, where it's been, the Bengals are kind of like a little bit lost on offense for the first month because Burrow like never participating in training camp, or he has receivers holding out or whatever it is. The Bengals just never have a normal preseason. I do wonder if we could see something a little similar with the Rams this year. I'd be less concerned just because Stafford's been doing this for so long. Like, I don't think there's going to be any sort of issues like it in terms of him just stepping right into the offense. But yeah, just, things to overthink on July 31st. But we are almost up on the clock here. Ladd McConkey is available. We could go right to Devontae Adams. That we probably don't need to pull him up into round 2, but I do like Ladd here if we get the chance. Is there anything else that sticks out to you here, Theo?
No, I like Ladd McConkey here. I think that would be the lean for me. I wouldn't mind pushing Chase Brown up a little bit. I think Ladd is a really strong, like a Ladd Puka start is very strong. I took Ladd in the Pros versus Joe's FFPC draft the other night. He fell to me to 23 overall. I thought that was a really, really good value. I know you've talked about Ladd McConkey pretty much all off season. It's a strong one, Ryan. And these are two players that are easy for us to correlate. Justin Herbert's always kind of falling into a range where we could do a 3 quarterback build and it really wouldn't be an issue. You're always able to kind of get that sort of stack when you draft Ladd.
Yeah. I also, on Underdog specifically, I'm really into these wide receiver starts, just because the running backs in round 3 are so much more appealing to me generally than the wide receivers in round 3. So I would love to, what's O'Marion Hampton's ADP looking like these days? 34 too?
Yeah, I'm in a slow FFPC main event with Scott Barrett, and we took him in the 3rd round. You're starting to see him rise, and I think he's an unpredictable player ADP wise, because I think people are reaching and going and getting their Hamptons shares with especially with the Najee stuff. So yeah, I would love to build that all Los Angeles start and get O'Marion Hampton, but I bet we get sniped on him.
Yeah, we might. But I mean, either way, that we got a couple options here. We can.
Oh yeah, and I don't mind going
Adams.
a third straight wide receiver here. We'll have wide receivers there in round 3 as well.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, I think I'll prefer Hampton. Okay, so yeah, that makes the decision for us. We can just pull up Hampton here. This is about where he should be going. I think he should be going right after Chase Brown, frankly. So that's really nice. That gives us a nice wide receiver running back start. We've got this Chargers stack building up. Should maybe be thinking about Texans that we could draft later on. But yeah, that makes it pretty easy. Justin Herbert's ADP is ridiculous. He goes way too late. I'm not going to queue him up because I know for a fact we will time out into him if I do. But yeah, I like how this team's coming together.
Yeah, and it's fun because when we get the Chargers, we get the Rams. You don't have to worry about those Week 17 weather games. You get the one game in Los Angeles with Houston, LA, and then you get the game that might really decide a lot of money this year with the Rams in Atlanta. The Zach Robinson Bowl, that'll be a really, really fun one. So many fantasy relevant players in that game, and it's on Monday Night Football. It's going to be extremely tilting.
Yeah, it always makes me nervous when we have like pre-crowned whichever week 17 game that we think is going to be the best in the preseason, just because it just like that Bengals it was Bengals Bills, right? That where Damar Hamlin like
The
almost
DeMar,
died on
yeah,
the field,
the Hamlin, you
where it
can't cap that. You can't cap that.
It was just like that was like the most anticipated week 17 matchup. That was like what everybody was building all of their stacks around, and that was what ended up happening with the game getting canceled.
It's a great year for week 17 though. We haven't talked about week 17. I mean, me and you've talked about week 17 like briefly. But it's a great week 17 this year. You've got so many interesting matchups that could pop off for best ball and redraft for that matter. The Bengals Cardinals game, that's really intriguing. Dolphins Bucks. There's Colts Jaguars is sneaky, and you don't have the weather concerns there. Bills Eagles, people are building in. The one that Graham Barfield and I liked a lot was Chicago San Francisco.
Yeah, that's a nice little sneaky one. We are on the clock here. I wouldn't mind Jalen Hurts, but maybe not on this build. I think DJ Moore is totally fine. Any of these receivers are fine. What do you think?
Well, just for the vibes, I don't mind pushing a little Jamison Williams here and swinging for the fences and taking a really high upside guy. I mean, DJ Moore's fine. The structural nature of DJ Moore makes a ton of sense. I think he gets off to a very fast start. So you make the call on this one. I'd prefer staying away from quarterback because I think we're going to be looking for Herbert, looking for Stafford, looking for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, agreed. That's kind of what I was thinking. So yeah, we went JMO there. I honestly like who I think should be going there is Ken Walker. Like I still don't really get why he goes in round 5, why he doesn't just go in round 4. It's just a round 4 profile. He was one of only 4 running backs in the NFL last year to be over 4 targets per game. Like it's just the XFP was incredible. It's everything about the Clint Kubiak offense is incredible for running backs. So I'm just going to keep talking about Ken Walker and hope we don't get sniped on him. And we'll this will be the test to see if anyone's watching the stream on this side of the board.
Yeah, I mean Kenneth Walker. I have a ton of Kenneth Walker.
There we go.
Yeah, of course he's going to go there. I have a ton of Kenneth Walker. I mean, I think that he's like, it's such an easy click. He averaged over 16 points per game. I love the Kubiak call. The use of the fullback that we haven't seen in Seattle. I think, Kubiak's gonna use the fullback. Like, they'll be towards the top of the league in fullback usage this year. And that just opens things up for these running backs. It also consolidates targets for the wide receivers, which is nice. But yeah, Kenneth Walker's in a really good spot. And it's interesting because he's steamed up in like FFPC, NFFC redraft. And we haven't really seen it on Underdog. And I understand it's best ball versus redraft, but there's a lot of like high stakes steam with Walker. And on Underdog, he's just a very, very solid value.
Yeah, he's like the reason that I'm not getting as much Travis Hunter exposure, just because like I am not going to click Hunter over Ken Walker on most builds. So I saw someone in chat asking about Travis Hunter. I had a think piece for free out on the site last week, just kind of all about Travis Hunter and whether there's actually more risk and downside with him as compared to any other rookie wide receiver. So you can go check that out on fantasypoints.com. Just search Ryan Heath, Travis Hunter. It'll pop right up. But I mean, the takeaway for me basically was that no, like the downside outcome of Travis Hunter not being that good, which is the same as every rookie, is correlated with the world in which he doesn't run as many routes as we need, right? I just find it really hard to imagine that he's not running like a lot of routes if he's really good, and obviously really good on the football field. Like it's just like with any rookie coming into the league, especially if they have round 1 draft capital, as soon as they look good on the field and they're making plays, they earn more playing time. And I expect it to be no different for Hunter. But I'm curious on your thoughts there, Theo. As soon as we make this pick. Not a Caleb Johnson fan. Probably want to go receiver here. I just tell me if someone stands out to you.
I think Jacoby Myers is interesting. I think that Debo's interesting. There's a few wide receivers here that I think are interesting. I'm not completely out on Judy. I think Jacoby Myers opens up a little more correlation for us. He's in a good spot where he'll be the number 2 target, but he'll be the leading wide receiver in Vegas. And I think the fact that Thornton and Jack Besh are like going to be the wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 sort of bodes that things should look similar for Jacoby Myers. And if the take that I know that some very smart people like yourself have made sort of I don't know if it was you or Scott, made the argument that we've never seen 100 reception receiver it was a Pete Carroll led team. I think that if it's the case and Bowers doesn't fully hit as the tight end 1 overall, which is something that I disagree with, but if Bowers doesn't have similar reception totals to last year, or maybe just fails to take the next step forward, it probably means Jacoby Myers finished as like the wide receiver 16, and he ends up being the winner on this team. I think one of the two of them is going to end up really beating their ADPs. And Jacoby Myers has is a much cheaper bet to make on the Geno Smith experiment in Vegas. So I like getting him. He's a guy who's going to demand targets on that team. So I'm into Jacoby Myers in that range. But I also think, again, Deebo Samuel is interesting. I think he's going to be a guy that can help you get off to a fast start in fantasy this year. I think they're going to really, really utilize him. They've talked about all the screen passes he's going to get. And we still haven't heard about Deebo Samuel, how much rush attempts that they're going to use with him in this offense. If that looks similar to San Francisco and he gets 45, 50 rush attempts this year, and that's just sort of the unknown wrinkle in the Washington offense, and I think Deebo could really pay off in that range too.
Yeah. I ended up going Deebo for similar reasons to what you're saying. Yeah, it's just the perfect. I had a tweet about this the other day. It's just like the perfect fit for the Cliff Kingsbury offense.
Yeah.
They actually didn't throw as much behind the line of scrimmage last year as we've seen Kingsbury do historically, and I mean I think that is based on personnel. So there's just so many targets there that are just like tailor made for Deebo right away. You've got the McLaurin kind of holdout stuff going on as well. So he's just really interesting to me where he goes. We did get sniped on Myers on the following turn, but I ended up going Isaiah Pacheco over Joe Mixon. I don't know how you feel about Mixon right now, Theo. And I like obviously
I'm completely off
because we're building like a Charger stack. But yeah, to me, there's a non-zero chance that he just misses most of the season. We don't really know that much about this foot injury. It has gone from, he's in a walking boot and he'll be okay for training camp to, he's totally fine to he's going to miss several weeks. It's just really, really bad vibes. I do not know where Nick Chubb has been going over the past week.
Give me 17th round Woody Marks would be the way that I'd be playing the Houston backfield right now, especially in best ball. He's going to catch a lot of passes. I don't want anything to do with Mixon. Who do we have in here queued up?
Let's see. So for me, I like Darnell Mooney here. I like Jalen Warren here for sure. With everything we're hearing out is Pittsburgh with Caleb Johnson struggling in pass pro. We can go either direction.
I like Jalen Warren here. I think this is a good best ball pick. And again, I think Warren is going to catch passes underneath in this offense. He's a good runner. And if Caleb is struggling early in the year, I think Warren's going to have way more usable weeks. I know we've sort of butted heads on this take. I still would prefer Caleb Johnson, but at this range in the 8th round, I think Jalen Warren's a fine click.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, it's we got a nice balance build here for running back, for wide receiver. Probably need to start planning what we're gonna do with the onesie positions. We'd be a little early on in Joker or Loveland at this next turn, but don't even mind pulling those guys up usually.
Yeah, I don't mind it because I feel like if you miss out on sort of this tier of tight end, and you're in round 9, then you could end up just kind of getting your entire tight end queue kind of gets wrecked. So I don't mind reaching a couple spots and getting a tight end that we like. So we're not sort of chasing volume tight end drafting in the back half.
Yeah, Trey Harris is also here. That is maybe a
I would
better
think
idea than reaching on the tight ends, but because we can get at least one of them.
Yeah, lean into your LA stack a little bit with Trey would be a really nice outcome.
Yeah, because we can get at least one tight end at pick 116 more than likely, and then it's just figuring out quarterback. But there's no one here.
Let's see the wide receivers. Which wide receivers are available?
Kupp, Ayuk, Trey Harris, Shaheed. I don't click a lot of Harris, but I just feel like it's a good idea on this build.
Yeah, lean into it.
Yeah. Let's go Trey Harris here.
So we have five wide receivers, 4 running backs through 9 rounds. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Good balanced build. Probably like my favorite way to build teams this year is just to lean into the 3 quarterback, 3 tight end stuff. Getting your running backs and wide receivers in a balanced fashion is it's been the way to go for me this year. But yeah, let's start queuing up some of these quarterbacks. We'll probably have to take Herbert.
Be careful you don't click Khalil Herbert instead of Justin. I see you're playing a dangerous game there.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, we can do, just looking at, we can easily go Stafford later. We can probably get Herbert on.
CJ Stroud's interesting because we would build the CJ Stroud, the Houston LA correlation there. I think CJ Stroud is a fun one here, and Jalen Noel super late. Woody Marks super late to get a little Houston correlation.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the way to play this one for sure.
Question for you. For you, because you've been doing a lot of these drafts as well. Do you think that there's any sort of argument to be made in being a little more fragile in your total running backs, but diving into a Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet combination, since they've been sort of really complementary to each other? The weeks that Walker plays, he scores. The weeks he misses, Charbonnet scores. We know Charbonnet is capable of putting up top 8 weeks, and you'd really be sort of making a double bet in the Kubiak backfield. Or is Charbonnet's price tag just a little too high as sort of in that elite handcuff range?
I think, here, hang on. Let's
make our pick first.
A full take once we make our pick. But yeah, I mean, basically, I just think he's too expensive. is what it mostly comes down to.
No, that's fair.
I mean, like in best ball, I especially in a tournament, I'm never going to draft them together. Just because I would rather bet on one of them staying healthy, I would rather bet on Walker staying healthy or him not staying healthy. Let's go Njoku.
Want to go Njoku? Loveland would be kind of a fun pick here.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do Loveland. Because if we're going 3 tight ends here anyway, let's take a swing for the fences, and then we can add, a Hunter Henry level type player as our tight end too. I love David Njoku as well, but I've been really trying to mix in a lot of Loveland, and I think I'm a little higher than you are on Tyler Warren. I think both of those guys are really strong bets to make, especially on Underdog.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like the only reason I haven't been getting as much Warren is just because the ADP has been higher than Loveland for most of the season. I expect that to change now with the Cole Kmet running with the 2s confirmation that we got earlier this week. So I will probably honestly start getting more Warren if it does start to happen that he's available after Loveland goes off. Because I mean, it's a similar type of bet. I'm not like quite as optimistic about the offense, but I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's a range I love drafting tight ends in. So Herbert does get sniped from us. We can pivot to Jared Goff here if we want.
I have a lot of Jared Goff. A lot of Jared Goff, Jameson Williams correlation. I know it's sort of like
we get sniped.
So we get sniped again. So we're gonna go a little. Let's hold off on quarterback and just lean into it. Do we need to take Stroud with the next pick? Is this going to be a quarterback?
Honestly, we probably should, just because I don't want to get completely iced out.
Yeah, so let's reach on Stroud if he's there. And what's our backup plan if he's not? I think. Oh, you took him, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I just
Again,
took
I can't see it as well.
No, you're
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we took Stroud 7 picks ahead
Okay,
of
so
ADP. Feel like we were kind of forced into that one because if he didn't come back, we were extremely screwed.
well, let's keep in mind Woody Marks, Jalen Noel, like a little bit later, maybe round 16, round 17. Lean into those guys.
Yep. Yeah, I'll just start queuing them up now as we figure out our as we map out our last few rounds here. Yeah, and Mark Snow can be the last couple rounds. We will probably need to take Stafford. Let's see. Probably in round 13 if we want to guarantee Stafford. And then we definitely need a third quarterback as well, which is
Can be a number of guys. I'm
yeah,
open to multiple quarterbacks as our QB3.
yeah. I mean, we can always do Aaron Rodgers, which is not like my favorite click to make, but when you need a third quarterback on a Jalen Warren team, I think that would work fine.
We also have if we're betting on the Kubiak offense being a little bit better, I don't mind Sam Darnold as a QB3 because he's cheap. He's always there at like right near the Rodgers range. I don't mind Geno. We don't have any correlation there, but again, like there's some late Raiders. A lot of those guys in like that quarterback 25 and beyond are interesting. Just curious, are you mixing in any Anthony Richardson? Because I've started to mix in some Anthony Richardson the last couple of weeks. He's cheap, super cheap. And even if he doesn't start the entire season, if it's a 3 quarterback build, he's going to give you some usable weeks.
I'll tell you in a second, but are we good on Dallas Goedert here and then go Matt Stafford next pick just so we don't like totally fall behind at tight end and we can focus on quarterback?
Yeah, I'm fine with Goddard. I think Goddard's really strong as our tight end too.
All right, awesome. Anthony Richardson, I have not been mixing him in yet because in my experience, he is just going over Daniel Jones now all the time. And you can sometimes just get Jones in like the final round or two. To me, while I think it's slightly more likely that Richardson starts week 1, just because it's like what the Colts probably should do in terms of evaluating the guy that they picked at 4th overall 2 years ago. It hasn't really changed my expectation in terms of I think Daniel Jones is going to start a lot of games this year. I think that they'll both start games this year. Obviously, I'd give Jones like slightly better odds to be starting in weeks 15 through 17 when we really care about in best ball. So yeah, to me, it had like the bet on Jones hasn't really changed that much. But I think Erich is fine. Like it's just weird because he doesn't fit Colts builds really, other than with Alec Pierce, just because I think pretty much every Colts skill player is hurt at least a little bit, other than Pierce by AR. Let's go Stafford here, unless
let's ensure our Stafford.
But yeah, basically it's kind of weird. Yeah, I think Richardson works as like kind of like we're talking about like a desperation QB3 type of guy on those builds. But it's not so much like it's like hard to build around him just because there's no cult I like taking with him besides Pierce.
I love taking Pierce with him, and I've also leaned into the idea of taking Richardson on teams where I take Tyler Warren because of the newness of Warren and the fact that you don't want to correlate the downs, you don't want to correlate the Pittman type plays with Richardson. I think Warren's the one where it's a little bit of a double bet that the rookie tight end, it becomes what helps Anthony Richardson maintain being the starting quarterback. And I'm sort of becoming more open to that one. So yeah, I guess I get it. I understand that there's the fear of Daniel Jones, but if I'm in a 3 quarterback build anyway, I might get 4 or 5 usable weeks out of Richardson just because of 6th all time in NFL history in rushing yards per game at the quarterback position. And he's only 23 years old. So I think, there's a lot of range of outcomes. The Colts could be pretty good this year. There's a lot of talent on that team. So I think the one thing with Richardson is, could they start the year off like 4-1 and then he just kind of maintains being the starting quarterback? I believe week 2 is Denver in Indianapolis. That's a massive game for them. If he can pull that one off, the goodwill and vibes might be there.
Yeah, I don't have the Colts like early season schedule memorized yet, but I would be actually be curious on that because yeah, it's the
Miami's the opener. I don't know the whole thing either, but just the
okay.
early season, it's Miami in Indianapolis, a winnable game, and then Denver, a winnable game. I'll pull it up as well. Who are we looking
Okay.
at for next pick?
I just want to take Hunter Henry here and be done at tight end, and
You're very
then we can.
predictable. You're very
Yeah,
predictable. Let's
it's
do
I
Hunter
know.
Henry.
Yeah, very brave, Ryan. This is the
No,
third
it's
time you've shown the class Hunter Henry for show and tell. We get it.
yeah.
But
You're a Hunter Henry guy. It's fine, Ryan. You own it. Get your Hunter Henry jersey when you're walking around.
I can't. See, I can't. Any Patriots jersey I buy is immediately cursed. There was a people might remember there was a Josh Gordon jersey hanging here for a while. That I ordered that one the moment he signed with the team. That one obviously didn't last too long. I'd had the Brandon Cooks jersey as soon as he got traded for, and we traded him the next offseason. Yeah, I can't do any Patriots jersey as a Patriots fan for any currently active player. Yeah, I'm a little worried that if I were to buy like a Tom Brady jersey, the guy would like croak or something. Like I'm actually really scared of my power here.
Definitely don't buy a Tom Brady don't buy any Patriots throwback of anybody living then if you're really worried at that level, Ryan. No Rob
Yeah,
Gronkowski jersey whatsoever.
exactly. Yeah, I just don't want any harm to befall any of these guys. There was another story last preseason. But you want to go Darnold here? You had kind of sold me on the
I like Darnold. I like
Seahawks
Darnold here.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Make the correlated like season long bet with Ken Walker for the offense just being good. Okay, so now we're good at quarterback. We are good at tight end, 3-3. What do we got? 3 more picks. So we probably want to make this like a 3-5-7-3.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. I'm fine with that one.
Okay. So yeah, if we can get Jalen Noel here, I am into that for sure, as we talked about earlier. But my other Patriots jersey story. I was at Gillette for the first preseason game last offseason. This was famously the one where the world was first introduced to Joe Milton in NFL preseason. But I was in the pro shop there, like before the game, just hanging out, looking around, whatever. And there was a Juju Smith-Schuster jersey. For those that don't remember, Juju was on the Patriots roster in the 2024 preseason, or leading up to training camp at least. So I had picked it up and looked at it, and I'm like, oh, look, that's funny. It's a Juju jersey. Like I remember, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. That's funny. And literally not even 24 hours later, the team announced that they had cut him.
There you go, Ryan.
And in my head, it was just because I touched the jersey. Like that's all it takes. So yeah, keep me away from that. This little plaque up here with Drake May's number was sent to me by producer Thomas Tipple because he knows I can't do jerseys. So yeah, that's all my Patriots jersey lore.
I'll throw out Will Shipley is also interesting with Dallas Goedert, that we have a little Philadelphia correlation. And it's probably more of a direct handcuff play, but it'd be a really impactful one.
Yeah, Shipley or Jalen Noel, we kind of have to decide here because I don't think both make it to our next pick.
Would you want to lean into the CJ Stroud correlation here, or do you want to take the running back here for the structure?
I think we probably need the Stroud correlation because we don't have any of that directly yet.
Yeah,
and
let's go
Mark's
Stroud correlation.
Off the board. So yeah. I mean, I really like Shipley too, especially when he's gonna fall past ADP. But we can go with like any.
Jarquez
I don't think like any.
Jarquez,
yeah,
I think Jarquez is very interesting. Again, it's a similar bet to make to Will Shipley, except I think Jarquez Hunter has a much easier way to get on the field because I think he's just very good, very and I think he's ahead of where Will Shipley was last year as a prospect, as a level of player.
Yeah, agreed. I like Hunter. Taj Brooks and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt are kind of rightfully the
JCM all day
trendy
for me.
Guys right now.
JCM season.
You want a JCM over all of these guys?
No, I'll still go Jarquez because we have the LA correlation. I'll lean into the
Good
correlation
call.
there.
Yep. All right.
But JCM is right there for me.
All right. Yeah, we can go Jarquez if he makes it, JCM if he doesn't at this pick, and then we'll just have to figure out our final wide receiver, who I would love to be Keenan Allen, but I doubt we're getting all these guys. Yeah, JCM goes in around 17. We can go Jarquez here.
Jarquez, easy
Yeah.
pick for us.
And then final round wide receivers. What do you got for me, Theo? I'll keep Keenan on the queue, but I'm imagining we don't get him. So where are your leans here?
I mean, I've been liking to cram in some Jalen Royals lately because he's oftentimes he's there in the 18th round. The vibes have been really strong with him. Hollywood Brown's a little bit banged up. We know Rashee Rice is going to be suspended at some point. And it just feels like everything's sort of lining up for Royals to be on the field a lot. So I like Jalen Royals in round 18. But there's a number of late wide receivers that I'm open to. We have Jamison Williams leaning into he's not really rostered that often. And oftentimes he goes undrafted, but sometimes getting a little more Detroit correlation. I've gone Isaac Tesla, another deep threat, a big time athlete. So I'm really open to multiple guys here, Ryan. I think we're in this build. There's nothing we have to cram in, but Royals would be the one I would break ties with.
Yeah, Keenan goes off the board. I agree. I kind of like the idea of Royals right now. That Hollywood Brown injury has been a little bit overlooked. My understanding is he got carted off the field a couple days ago, and we know nothing else. Based on Hollywood's history, that could be an extremely long-term injury.
Is Jalen Royals just going to be better than him too? Like, I don't think it's a non-zero chance that Jalen Royals at this point as a rookie could just overtake Hollywood Brown at some point this year. And that could be, people are not necessarily prepared for that, but I know Brett Whitefield's a huge Jalen Royals guy. We liked him throughout the draft process. His 2023 season was unbelievable. Had like 15 touchdown catches and then was on his way to a huge year last year before getting banged up. So I think Royals is definitely interesting.
Yeah, we get sniped here, but we have Tesla, or we can go Alec Manor, who Easton Freeze believes will open as the Titans wide receiver too.
It's just such a crappy offense, though. I love Easton's takes, and I agree on Manor, especially for Dynasty, but I'd rather just lean in and have Tesla. And also, I feel like Tesla gets drafted less than Alec Manor does.
Yeah.
So you get to week 18, you have those two Lions. Let's say Sam Laporte is out. Let's say Amon-Ra St. Brown's out. And we end up getting a Isaac Tesla big touchdown. I think that could help us.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. So we went Tesla. This is a really solid team. We finish off with CJ Stroud, Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold at QB, Omarion Hampton, Ken Walker, Isaiah Pacheco, Jalen Warren, Jarquez Hunter at running back, Puka, Ladd, Jamo, Debo, Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll, and Isaac Tesla at wide receiver, and another 3 tight end build, Colston Loveland, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry. Honestly, maybe we could have just gone 2 tight ends here, just looking at kind of how this transpired. I think Loveland is honestly at the point for me that I would just trust him as the tight end 1 in a 2 tight end build at this point. So maybe as a note going forward, that's what I'll be trying to do maybe in our next draft.
You don't need the Hunter Henry break glass in case of emergency structural pick, Ryan, every single draft.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's become like my pacifier. Like all I want to do is click Hunter Henry. The last one took a while to fill, so we can
we'll go to
hop
a
into
Best
a
Ball Mania
BBM.
maybe. Yeah, let's do BBM.
I think let's do that. If I can, did I just scroll past it? I totally did. Yeah, first. Oh no, hang on. There it is.
Here it is, right there.
Let's do it. Well, same thing. So if you guys want to draft with us, we waiting for 8 people here in a BBM. I assume this is going to fill the fastest. Otherwise, we may have to go to a Chihuahua, but we can hang in the BBM lobby for a minute if you guys want to hop in. We can also catch up on some chats here. From Kells 22 on the clock, who do you take, Ashton Genty or Devon Achane this year? I'm going Devon Achane. Theo, where are you at on Genty versus Achane?
I have them back to back in my rankings. I think you can make an argument that Achane is a potentially higher upside pick. Genty might be the safer pick. I think like they're both excellent picks where they're going in drafts right now. But Achane, I think, can catch 100 passes. Genty can lead all running backs in touches this year. So I can make a great case for both of these guys. But I do have Achane and Genty back to back with Achane one spot ahead of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel pretty similarly. I'm drafting a lot more Achane just because I'm doing a lot of like the running back wide receiver starts kind of from that range. And Achane is just easier usually to fit. It has been my experience. But yeah, for Achane just like wins regardless of what the Dolphins offense looks like. If it's terrible and they just have to throw 100 screen passes again, then he obviously wins there, with especially with Jono being gone. If the interior of the offensive line is actually a lot more effective, as Mike McDaniel's been hoping to open up the explosives again, then Achane obviously wins in that case. Like I really feel like you can't go wrong with Achane. Like the only way this totally backfires is if like we get a lot of Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright or whatever at the goal line, or Alexander Madison. But to me, even if Achane is like a 40 to 50% goal line touches player, like he can still easily complete like surpass his cost. Especially if we get any of those explosive runs back from his rookie season. So yeah, just so many outs. I prefer Achane narrowly as well. Bindles asks, favorite wide receiver past round 9. Thanks, Bindles, for asking the hard questions here, because I don't like any wide receiver after round 9, really. So that's going to be, let's see, in this, I can't even do math. 12 times 10 is 120. So after pick like 112 or so.
Let me pull this up
by ADP.
I have it on
like
my
after,
screen too.
Rashid Shaheed goes in round 9 now, apparently too, which I that was going to be my easy answer. So yeah,
Luther Burden slides in at 116. He's off the list.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a couple guys that I like. I like Marvin Mims at 127. I think like this Denver offense could be really, really good. And Mims has been a spike week guy for us last year. I think he could be a spike week guy for us this year. It'll be year 3 for him. High draft capital player. I really like Demario Douglas. I took him in the Pros vs. Joe's FFPC draft. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes this year in New England. He goes at 161 overall. Josh Palmer on Josh Allen teams has been a guy I've been clicking a lot. I'm gonna build a lot of teams with Alec Pierce this year. I think he's the only Colts wide receiver that sort of thrived on the big arm from Richardson, and I'm betting on Richardson starting a lot more games than I think some people are projecting him for. And then just the bet on talent, it's Jalen McMillan, where you talk about like Emeka Egbuka has been a guy that I've been kind of all over, but Jalen McMillan would also really benefit from Chris Godwin missing time this year. And I don't think the vibes are great with Godwin. And McMillan was just awesome to end last year. So those have sort of been my late round wide receivers of choice. What pick do we get here, Ryan?
So we got pick 12 here, so we're
Okay,
on
cool.
the turn. So my favorite place to draft from this year, actually. I just add Cedric Tillman's name into my wide receivers I like after round 9. I mean, he averaged over 18 fantasy points per game. Post Amari Cooper trade, obviously went down with a concussion after 4 games there, but that was possibly like a year 2 wide receiver breakout that we just all collectively forgot about. He was out targeting Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku over that range. So if the Browns have competent quarterback play at any point this season, which they could at some points with Joe Flacco, who obviously was very good for his pass catchers the last time we saw him on this team with Kevin Stefanski. If any of that kind of works out, then I think Tillman is a really good spike week candidate. It passed round 9. What do you like to do at the turn, Theo? We got Puka falling, which is interesting. I doubt we're going to get him, but
he'd be an auto pick. I kind of like the idea of a BTJ, Genty, or BTJ and Devon Achane. Either one is fine with me. I like to get the balance there. I also don't mind an Achane Genty and double tap running back, and then we could be really fragile with this build.
All right, Genty goes. So BTJ Achan is what I'm hearing.
Fine, unless you want to cram in a Amon-Ra St. Brown BTJ and go wide receiver, which I'm fine with too. But I think BTJ is a no-brainer. And then I prefer the Achan pick, but I get it if you want to go wide receiver.
Yeah, no, I also prefer the HN pick, so we'll go BTJ HN. Yeah, like I do think wide receiver at the 12 spot makes sense, just because very often you are going to get a pretty interesting or I'm losing the word, a pretty
unique,
a running back I want, not a running back I want
unique.
At pick 36. Yeah, I don't even know what word I was reaching for there, but yeah, a running back I want. You can get a Breece Hall there. You used to get Omarion Hampton there a lot less often now. So yeah, like structural reasons, wide receiver does work there for sure. But yeah, I want to be above the market on Devon Achane. So that's kind of how I'm accomplishing it, is just taking him at the turn every single time. So yeah, this will be an easier one, Theo, because we got all this time in between picks on stream here. So
I see
yeah,
Brandon Friedrich in the chat asking about, have you guys moved down Justin Jefferson since the hamstring concerns? I'll say for me, Jefferson will be right behind CeeDee Lamb when I update my rankings. I've been sort of gravitating towards Lamb right ahead of him. I like Jefferson for me in redraft. I'm still open to taking him, but before I was kind of more open to taking him at like 3 overall. Now I'd kind of prefer when you get him in like that 6 through 8 range. We also think Minnesota could be a little bit less pass happy. Everything about that offensive line, Josh Oliver, Jordan Mason, they're going to play Josh Oliver a lot, get their money's worth from that contract. I think they'll be in 12 a ton. And I think Jordan Mason could end up being a thing. So for me, it's not really a huge move down. It's just a slight move down within the tier. And I think Lamb is in store for a really, really strong season.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, my heart has always wanted to rank Puka over Jefferson. My heart has kind of always wanted to rank Lamb over Jefferson. So I'll probably be doing similar.
I'll have Puka up there too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I love your Puka take, and I've been there too. I think Puka was 6 overall the last time I did my top 50. So I get it. But like Puka, the one thing I worry about is he doesn't take a huge step forward in terms of touchdown catches. And that ends up being like a Devontae Adams becomes a thing around the goal line, a thing inside the red zone. I could see Puka getting 160 targets and catching 7 touchdowns. Whereas Lamb, I think, has that upside to get to double-digit touchdowns this year. So I think that's been the way I've been drafting recently.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely with you on Lamb. I feel like I have been writing up our coaching or play caller tendencies and play caller changes article over the last week and a half or so. And when I got to the Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer, I was like, oh yeah, I've like completely forgotten about all of these takes that I had on the Cowboys and how they are likely going to be even more incredibly pass heavy, introduce some more motion and shift based on what Schottenheimer was saying when he got hired. So I guess I've been like sleeping a little bit on this Cowboys passing attack, to the point that, I'm going to need to correct that and start getting some more Cowboys best ball stacks for sure. It's just an amazingly, I think it's going to be fairly concentrated. I know Scott is forever a big Jake Ferguson fan. But to me, like CD and Pickens can just combine for such a high share of this passing attack. What do we want to do here? We've got
pull up our queue.
Yeah. So we've got Josh Allen available at the turn. Is kind of tempting.
Let's take Josh Allen for sure.
Yeah. That's kind of hard to say no to.
Bleed the clock a little bit so we can think about our next pick.
Yeah, I mean, we're likely looking at wide receiver here. All Breece and Kyron and all of them are gone.
I don't mind pushing up Tet here, especially because we took Josh Allen. We already have Trevor Lawrence potentially, Tua potentially, and we can add Bryce Young in there. We feel less pressure to dive into sort of the the low end QB1s when we get Josh Allen here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Tet is actually my highest ranked player that is on the board right now. So that
Tet's
works
awesome.
out swimmingly. Yeah. Yeah. To me, this is going to be the Dave Canales X receiver role, which has been good for close to 16 expected fantasy points per game over the last 2 seasons. If you're just combining Mike Evans and the handful of games that Deontay Johnson was with the Panthers, it's like an especially valuable outside X receiver role because he has them run all of these horizontally breaking routes that we don't always get with these outside X guys, just because those are much more efficient for fantasy football. And it's kind of like the inverse of the problem that we have kind of run into with Marvin Harrison Jr., for example, or Keon Coleman, or any of these guys on the outside that just kind of get left out to dry there as as Matt Harmon calls it, like the sacrificial X receiver. I think Tet is going to be the total opposite of that, just because of how Canales designs all these route concepts for his outside guy. So yeah, I'm really, really big on Tet. It's like he's like the least talked about and least like hyped top 10 wide receiver pick ever. I feel like
Tet McMillan is going to be Drake London, but he'll be Drake London quicker than it took Drake London to become Drake London. If you get what I'm saying, like he'll be at a 150 target player in year 2. I think this year it's a non-zero chance it happens. Probably more likely he's like 135 targets. Adam Thielen's still there. Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jatavian Sanders targets are going to go up. It's a fun offense. I think they could take a step forward with Canales. I just really like Tet, and I think he could be playing his best football the second half of the season. But the vibes are perfect for him there. I love it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously the biggest point just with taking any rookie is the production's always going to be backloaded into the weeks we care about the most.
I will say before we pick, one interesting strategy I've seen recently in multiple formats that I'm coming around on a little bit. James Cook has been a guy that I've been kind of somewhat fading. I still have my bags packed in Dynasty. I understand he's a big potential regression candidate. Scored a ton of touchdowns last year. But building the Josh Allen correlation
real quick, we're on the clock. Are you good with Travion Henderson here?
Let me see it. We have Achane
versus Kamara, Connor.
No, I would go. I think Henderson makes a ton of sense for us here.
Awesome. And the second pick, we could go Harvey. So we should probably go receiver.
Why don't we go? I don't know if we need to go receiver here. I mean, I like Addison, but I think there's something to be said for being a little more fragile at running back with this build, and leaning into it. I'll throw James Conner's name out there.
Oh crap! You a little too late, but we got RJ Harvey.
Harvey's fine. I love RJ Harvey, but I think right now this running back build we could just lean into it and be more fragile. I think this is a max 5 RB team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I have like very few concerns about either Henderson or Harvey from a workload perspective. I feel like we kind of do this every single year with the round 2 rookie running backs that have the not that exciting veteran on the roster to supposedly soak up touches. Like for one, J.K. Dobbins is the most injury prone running back in the NFL. And I am not a guy that likes labeling running backs as injury prone, but that is just objectively the case with J.K. Dobbins. It's been a long history of it. So, I mean, even if you are skeptical of Harvey's ability to just completely own him, which it sounds with the reports from training camp with how Harvey looks and the explosive plays he's generating, I don't think it'll be a very big problem for him. But yeah, even if he just has like the easiest possible out of J.K. Dobbins isn't going to stay healthy. And Henderson is like the same thing to me. I mean, Josh McDaniels' offenses have been nearly as liberal at throwing to the running back position as Sean Payton's have over the years. The Patriots took Henderson over every wide receiver available at the top of round 2 when they've really needed offensive weapons. Like I think that he just to them was the guy that would make the biggest difference to the passing game. And that's exactly what I want. Ramondre Stevenson, I don't think is as liked by the organization as people would assume for a guy that they extended last year, just because they had no one else to extend. We've hit on no draft picks aside from May and Christian Gonzalez the last few years. So yeah, I'm all over both of those rookies.
Yeah, and like we've been, I think, ahead on Travion Henderson versus a couple of other of our colleagues here at Fantasy Points throughout the draft process. I'm with you, and I think Travion Henderson landed on a team where he could become the offensive focal point. So, like, I don't know, Travion Henderson could be fast tracked. The one thing that concerns me about Henderson is not the offensive line; it's Ramondre Stevenson's usage in the passing game. I don't mind Ramondre Stevenson being mixed in as a runner, but if Stevenson has a history with Josh McDaniel as a receiver, do we see that be something where like the targets are split for the first half of the year and then Henderson sort of takes over in the second half of the year? That could be a major pain with Henderson. But again, not as much of a pain in best ball. But I'm still very open to drafting Henderson in a similar range in redraft as well.
Do you want to double tap Shakir and Josh Downs here? We can stack Shakir with Josh Allen, get click downs to stay ahead at wide receiver.
I think that Shakir is a no-brainer.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Josh Downs is necessary for this team.
I look at these receivers and I kind of think he is like Jaden Hick, and what's going to get back to us on the turn? It's going to be like Trey Harris.
It's a volume. It's a volume bet on wide receiver with this team because we're taking fewer running backs. I'm fine with Downs. I know you have huge conviction on him.
Yeah, I really do. So yeah,
let's
Downs makes me feel pretty like shockingly good about the wide receiver room after only having 2 of them through 6 rounds or whatever it was. But yeah, sorry, going back to your point on Ramondre Stevenson and Josh McDaniels. So McDaniels has only coached Stevenson in 2021, I believe, which was Stevenson's rookie season. So obviously rookie season caveats apply. Probably most rookies aren't trusted as pass protectors, all of that. But he didn't really play that many passing downs at all or run that many routes at all as a rookie. Damian Harris, I believe, ran more routes than him that season. I forget who the Patriots like passing down, third down specialist was that year. But whoever it was also was more involved. It was kind of like a 3-back system in that year. I don't think it wasn't James White. I don't know who it was at that point, but yeah. So long story short, McDaniels hasn't used Stevenson in the passing game before. Travion Henderson is supposed to be the best pass blocker among this running back class. So I'm pretty optimistic that he is just immediately on the field for every passing down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think I'm maybe a little bit more bullish on Stevenson than you are, but I do think it's in Henderson, where they drafted him, the way they're going to utilize him. And is there a scenario where both backs see touches, but Henderson still sees the majority of the targets? I think for Henderson, really, he had like 11 plays over 50 yards at Ohio State, extremely explosive player. So if we can just get him as the back that's receiving the targets in the passing game, then I'm fine with Stevenson still being worked in. But I don't know. It's interesting for me. The split I think is super, super tilting right now because I want to draft Henderson every draft, but I also think the drafts where I miss Henderson, especially on Underdog, I've been open to like 11th round Ramondre as well.
Yeah. Index of suspicion saying paying because there's no one else to commit to just seems odd. I agree, but that's what Elliot Wolf does. It's we can't take him too seriously. I'm a little unsure what to do here at this turn. We could click Mark Andrews.
I'll throw it out to you. We're at 3 running backs right now.
Correct.
Take J.K. Dobbins and call it a day, and we'll be a 4 running back team, and we just lean into the entire Denver running back usage.
That's interesting. Dobbins.
There we go. Okay, so that's that. I've been trying to do those builds.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, obviously, let's throw in because of the correlation. Rashid Shaheed because he's good. I don't hate Tyrone Tracy here, even if we're Cam Scattaboo people, because, and I'm sort of open to either of them running with it. I don't think it's going to be a full split there. Anybody else stand out to you here in this queue?
Not really.
QB2's
You
all.
want Tracy over Shahid? I'm okay
No,
with
I'd
that.
probably go Shahid because I think we're in better shape at running back than wide receiver.
Yeah, agreed.
So
Okay,
let's go
so yeah,
Shahid.
we'll go Shahid here. So we're up to 6 receivers, and I feel pretty good about our receiver room. So we can
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
and we have
coast
great
there.
correlation with Allen now. We've got
Yep.
Shakir and we've got Coleman. I think that's strong.
Yeah, just all these bills have been just falling past ADP in this lobby, which is kind of nice. So yeah, we're probably just looking at tight end next round, like whichever of this Tyler Warren, David Njoku, Colston Loveland tier makes it to us. Maybe none of them will.
I would break ties with Tyler Warren, and because we have the Josh Downs, again, we talked about like Indianapolis. I think it's sort of the double bet where Downs would excel with Daniel Jones. I think Warren could excel with whoever because I think they're going to feature him. I don't mind having a little correlation with Indianapolis and lean into it. But I'm okay with all those tight ends. I think they're all, you could make an argument for several of those guys.
Yeah. Warren and Loveland go. We'll definitely take Njoku if he makes it to us. Not really holding my breath on that though. I mean, after him, it's kind of a little bit rough. We could do a Dalton Kincaid team.
Well, we do have Josh Allen, Ryan.
Yeah. That's the only reason I'm even considering it. Dalton Kincaid's just so disgusting to me.
You're a huge Dalton Kincaid hater, huh? Brett Whitefield's in on him right now. He's banged up though, isn't he? Aren't we dealing with some an injury right now? Let me check the latest on Dalton Kincaid.
We probably are. I don't know, man. That seems to be the Dalton Kincaid experience. He goes off the board though, so we are getting iced out a little bit here at tight end, which so that's probably going to be the.
I take that one back. He returned to practice on Tuesday, so I misspoke.
Okay, cool.
That's the only reason Ryan is not upset right now about yeah. Okay, so
exactly.
tight end wise, I mean we're sort of open
I mean
here.
we're gonna have to reach for Hunter Henry at some point probably is how this,
and I'll throw out
how this will turn out.
Brenton Strange. You have Brian Thomas.
Yes, I like that actually. Yep.
The chaos scenario where Travis Hunter has to play cornerback full time because of injuries at the cornerback position in Jacksonville, and Brenton Strange sees additional targets. I don't mind that. There.
Did Lawrence go already? He did. Okay. I mean, we could try to push these tight ends off to the next turn because that's where both of them go. Luther Burden here is interesting to me, and then we could just be totally done at receiver.
Charbonnet is interesting to me. I know, like the drafts where we don't get Kenneth Walker. I'm interested in Charbonnet because again, his usable weeks are running back 1 weeks. It's not like you're getting a Charbonnet and he finishes as the RB30 in weeks where Walker's gone. So, like, I don't mind Charbonnet. I think he's an edge pick in drafts you don't have Walker, but I prefer Burden if he's there. Quarterback wise,
Sharp just went, so we can do Burden and Bashal Tutin. Stick with the Jags at running back.
I'm okay with Bashal Tutin there. I'm also okay with Ray Davis. I'm also okay with Ray Davis. Ray Davis is also like in a better offense, and you're getting a little more correlation. You're leaning a little bit more. And we could call it a day, obviously, on correlation here. You'd have Ray Davis and the 2 receivers with Josh Allen. We'd have a lot of Buffalo exposure. They could lead the NFL in total scoring this year. That wouldn't surprise either of us.
Yeah, I like it. And I mean, Tutin's ADP is going to continue to fall, so I should probably stop clicking him at ADP because I have a lot. So yeah, I like that. We went with Luther Bird and Ray Davis there. Just got to hope and pray that these 2 tight ends we've earmarked will make it to us. As long as Hunter Henry makes it to us, I think we're going to be all right. But yeah,
and we
can kind of do whatever at quarterback. Yeah, there's like.
Show our quarterback.
Sure. So yeah, we can always go Tua if he comes back to us. We can always go with AR if we want. We have Downs. We can always go Tyler Shuck with Shahid. No,
Let's not go
we're
Tyler
anti-Tyler
Shuck.
Shuck here.
Let's
Okay.
let's go Tua if he's there. We also have the correlation with Travion Henderson. I believe that's New England. Miami is the week 17.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So we get a
That's
little.
or no, it's Pat's Jets.
Oh,
Is it not?
Miami is Tampa Bay. Excuse me. It's
Yeah.
Pat's Jets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I misspoke on that. But I think Tua Devon Achane correlation makes sense because
Yep.
he scores in weeks. Tua's there, so it's a double bet there.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, so we can Tua's ADP is ahead of this turn, so I'm definitely cool with clicking him if he comes to us, but then we're only going to get one tight end or one of these two tight ends, but that's probably fine. Yeah, we can decide when we get there and see what it looks like. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like on the Josh Allen builds, I'm kind of okay with whatever at the second quarterback, which is maybe not the way to think about it, but like you want Josh Allen to just be in your lineup as much as humanly possible. So I'm actually I'm kind of okay with the Tyler Shucks or the ARs of the world on these teams.
Throw Bryce Young into the discussion as well because we have Ted McMillan. Tua, Bryce Young, either one of those sort of makes sense to me. And we need to think about our fifth running back.
Let's see. Well, we probably can't take him on this turn if we're going QB tight end, but yeah.
That's fine.
I think QB2 and tight end 1 are definitely more pressing than
Is there
RB5.
do you want to consider tight end here? Or is it they're not? It doesn't make sense ADP wise.
I think it does make sense. I think I would be happy going Strange Henry here and then punting off quarterback until later, just because there are going to be other options, even if they're not amazing. And I'm more okay making that concession on a Josh Allen team. But that's
I'm
up
fine
to
with
you.
it. I'm also not scared of Isaiah Likely, who I'm very high on. I know you're not as high on. Let's go Strange Henry. I think that's a nice turn for us. And we get 2 usable tight ends, and at least one of those guys could be a low end tight end 1 this year.
Yeah. I think definitely important to get the tight end production in that spot with this build. I agree. And who knows, maybe 1 or 2 or Bryce will fall. Those guys do tend to fall semi often. Tua goes off the board right there. But yeah, we can, let's see. We'll be at 180, 181 our next 2 picks. So yeah, I mean,
well, it's sort of a not commonly done, but if you could turn into a 3 quarterback build with Richardson and Jones as you're basically using 3 spots for 2 quarterbacks, but you could get Jones in round 18, Richardson whenever, and lean into the Josh Downs and I don't know. It's kind of, we're galaxy braining it a little bit, but
yeah, I don't think I want to use 2. I don't think I ever want to draft 3 quarterbacks on a team where I took Josh Allen is kind of my only issue with that. But I like the way you're thinking.
Very fair. Very fair. Again, it's a cheap 2 quarterbacks though.
Yeah. No, it is, but we're also like, we definitely need a tight end 3 on this team. We definitely need an RB5 on this team. And we have I guess we have 4 picks, so that's not impossible. Yeah.
It's uncommon. It's uncommon.
Yeah. All right, you got me thinking a little bit here, Theo.
Okay, so we don't have to like a quarterback.
Yeah, we can see how
we're wide open at quarterback. Let's talk about our tight end 3 here.
Yes.
I think we can lean into one of the rookies and swing for it. I think that Arroyo is interesting. I think Mason Taylor is interesting.
Yeah, I think
Jatavian Sanders is interesting because we have the Ted McMillan. Get a little correlation there, and there's a non-zero chance that I think Sanders becomes a thing this year, and he's cheap as hell.
We could click Arroyo Darnold if we wanted.
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, Darnold just went. I am cool with Arroyo even without Darnold too, but
I'm cool with it.
A-Rich goes. A lot of QBs flying off the board right now.
Okay, so let's look at
We
our
may
QB.
we might end up with Tyler Shuck.
I'd be grossed out by it. I'd almost rather Russell Wilson than Tyler Shuck.
How do you feel about Miles Sanders here as RB5? He supposedly looks better than Javonte in camp.
It's fine. I hate getting excited about any of those guys that besides Jaden Blue a little bit. Dowdle, I think Will Shipley's interesting. Rico Dowdle, and we go with the direct handcuff. But you took Miles Sanders, so
Yeah, I took Sanders. Sorry.
No problem.
Arroyo here at tight end.
I think Arroyo's fine. I think Mason Taylor's fine too. You're anti Mason Taylor?
I'm just higher on Arroyo. I think Brett likes him more. I'm like more intrigued by this Kubiak offense in terms of I think they're actually going to utilize a tight end in a lot of 12 personnel in the pass game. They get rid of Noah Fant because he doesn't really fit what they want to do there. You need a tight end that can block as well for this system. So I think Arroyo is pretty interesting, and supposedly has been tearing up camp. So that's kind of why I lean to him more.
They're moving him all over. Shout out to Andrew Cooper. That's my boy in the chat. All the work he does at Fantasy Alarm is actual fire. And he'll be on School of Scott with Scott and I sometime in August. Coop, we got to schedule that, but he's going to come on and do our tight end show. We've done pretty much every position. We're saving tight end for Andrew Cooper. So Coop, you can talk Oronde Gadsden on that one. I'd say Dowdle's interesting. Just at this range of drafts, he's not.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Yeah, it's really just we have two more picks. One of them is going to be a QB. Would you rather go Daniel Jones over Tyler Shuck?
I feel like it's almost a 3 QB build here, Ryan, because of how crappy these quarterbacks are and how untrustworthy they are, and the fact that we're in round 17, round 18. You're committed to just one quarterback here in a 2 QB build?
Yeah, I mean to me, yeah, there's just no like we certainly can go 3 QBs if you want, because I do think we're okay at every other position. So if that's how you want to do it, I'm fine with it. But I just think we'd be better served adding another running back.
Okay, so I'm okay going quarterback, running back. I'd almost lean into Russell Wilson. I mean, if we don't have Josh Allen in the second half of the season, we're already dead. So we'll just get by with a 2 QB build, and it's crappy Russell Wilson, and we'll bet on him keeping the job for a little bit longer, holding off Jackson Dart for a little bit longer.
All right. Yeah, no, that works. I mean, really, we're just looking for, we're just optimizing for who's going to score the most points in week 7 when Josh Allen's on bye is kind of how I'm looking at it. So yeah, that's cool. And then Jones goes anyway. So Russ and Shuck are the last option. So we'll go Russ. And then would you rather add a 6th running back or an 8th wide receiver?
I'd almost rather go with an 8th wide receiver and lean into it a little bit here.
All right.
But I'm open to whatever. Either one works for me, Ryan. Whatever you're leaning structure wise. There's some fun running backs still on the board. Wide receiver wise, you could lean into Jalen Coker in round 18. Sort of a no buzz type guy, but he played well when he was on the field last year. And we already have a little bit of Carolina correlation. We took Jalen Royals last draft. You could always go with your Keenan Allen bet if he's still there.
So I'm a little. We'll time out into Russ and we can talk about this last pick. I'm a little scared that Jalen Coker's not going to make the team because of Hunter Renfrow, which I can't believe is a statement that I'm saying. But
devil's advocate, does Jalen Coker land well if he doesn't make the team? Because he played really well last year, and I think he flashed a lot. If you're scared off of him, I don't mind going Jalen Royals again in round 18. I think he's the appropriate round 18 pick to make right now. The buzz hasn't picked up. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we get to the end of August, you start seeing some like late 16th round Jalen Royals. I don't think 18th round Jalen Royals is going to exist when you get to the end of August.
Yeah, no, agreed. So yeah, we went Royals there. That just seems the safest way to go. So yeah, this team ends up as Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Devon Achane, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Ray Davis, Miles Sanders, BTJ, Tet, Khalil Shakir, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden, Jalen Royals, Brenton Strange, Hunter Henry, Elijah Arroyo. Before we finish up, I do just want to remind everybody that we are still running our promo with Underdog. You can go over there if you're a new user and use promo code FANTASYPTS in order to get a deposit match, as well as a $5 Fantasy Points standard subscription. You can go read Anatomy of a League Winner with that. You can go read Scott Barrett's draft guide that is coming out very soon. You get access to all of our best ball rankings and pretty much all of our preseason content aside from DFS stuff with that subscription. So if you haven't taken advantage of it, make sure you go and use promo code FANTASYPTS at account creation on Underdog. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got here. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us in the chat today. Yeah, shout out Andrew Cooper, everybody else that's been chilling and drafting along with us. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.